Hello Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for another Orc Mode workout. Today was max effort squat day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos. Please remember to click like down below, it would be greatly appreciated. Good news, I'm able to get under a straight bar. I got a decent little box squat in. The bad news, I am not getting the bar even on my back, and someone called that from the first video. I've looked at the footage, pretty much every single set. The bar is shifted to my left side a couple inches. Okay, in other words, my left side is having to take more weight. So that's probably limiting what I can do, and it's definitely making it harder. But I also notice I've really almost strained my right glute doing the rep work. A lot of fatigue in the right glute and hip, even though the left side's being forced to take a little more load. And we'll get to that through the rest of the training. But the good news, the pull-ups that had impinged my shoulder, I've largely rehabbed it. I can do dead hangs pain-free. I'm able to now do body weight chin-ups and things, and I'll start adding those in as weighted here soon. But I can get under the straight bar again. I've got it in a good position now. I need to work on getting it even on my back. And someone already said, hey, that 500, well, that 500 wasn't a max. Someone had said, hey, are you stronger in the cambered bar? No, not necessarily. My best box squat with a cambered bar, even though I've done a 605 box squat with it, is only 535. And off of a taller box in this. This is a deeper box than I did that with. There's no doubt in my mind the back squat with the bar, straight bar, will be above that pretty quick. I have no doubt about it. Especially now that I can actually work it. So here we've got 500. Did a nice pause on the box. No box rocking. Came straight up. And that was the main thing I was looking for, because I did rock the box with that Buffalo bar last time. And, you know, I banned the only person who called me on it because he was insulting. You know, if someone's going to call me out on something, they need to be polite. And if you can't be polite and respectful, I'm going to ban you even if you're right. It's not about being right or wrong. The guy was actually right. But he was such a dick about it that he got banned. I didn't even disagree with him. He actually was right. But if you're going to be a dick, I'm going to ban you. Deal with it. Learn to be polite when you come and give criticism to elite lifters and coaches. Okay. But we didn't rock the box this time. So then I went ahead and dropped down to 405 and did some fives. These were actually hard. These were not a 5 rep max, but they were pretty challenging. I probably left at least 1 rep in reserve on every set. But here's what I'm going to note. After 3 sets, I'm like, I can't do 5 sets of these today. I was going to try to do 5. My right glute and hip were just really lit up to the point where it's like, they're not used to this. You know, it was a deload last week. I didn't train. You know, I'm going to have to reacclimate to a little bit of volume. I said my work capacity was down a bit. Well, I stopped at 3 sets, but you know what? I felt like I got a lot of stimulation off these 3 sets. My shoulder was a bit uncomfortable after, though. Like, it wasn't happy about it, even though I've largely rehabbed it. This is still really, really tight on my shoulder. And it's already starting to feel better now, but it was very uncomfortable by the time I got over to pulling. But mainly, the thing that bothered me with the glute, I really wanted to do some sumo today, because I'm like, you know what, I bet today I can go all the way to the edges of the rack on the box. Right, I've had a good rest. Everything's recovered, healed up. I bet you I can get real wide, which I want to do. I want to work on that. And I want to work on getting on a deep box real wide so that I can go real wide like this without the box and get depth. And get to meet legal depth without the box. With a wide stance. Again, we can sit back. We can use more hips. Right? And that's the idea. Now to get the best possible squat. So I really hoped I could mess with some sumos today, because I'm like, you know what? If my hips are able to do this, I bet you they're getting strong enough to start messing with some sumo pulling. Because when I did lots of wide stance box squatting and speed sumos, I actually had my sumo up pretty respectable, for those who remember, over, you know, a year or so ago. A little over a year ago. It actually was getting quite good. I pulled 600 off of very, very low blocks. So I'd hoped I could do some sumo, but I realized my hip and glute are not going to take it. Right? They're not going to take it. This was all they could handle. This pretty much puts them to their limit. You know, very, very fatigued. And that's what we have to assess with these things. We have to know sometimes that, hey, this is going to over-fatigue something. Because I'm not used to this real wide stance again. I'm going to have to build it back up. But I feel like as I build it back up, I'm going to be able to start sumo pulling again. And I like sumos for rep work because they're easier on recovery. Okay, there's less less shear on the lumbar. They're easier on recovery than conventional deadlifts, and you can get away with a little more training volume on them. Plus, they reinforce the box squat and wide stance squat back and forth. They feed into each other. But instead, what did we do? 2.5 inch deficit. And because my glute was really fatigued, I'm like, I'm not going to do limit sets. I'm just going to go to a nice, moderately heavy weight for 5s, so where we're getting a couple of effective reps, right? These are not, the first rep isn't heavy on any of these. And that's always your giveaway. When you're doing 5s, if the first rep is not heavy, you know that you're nowhere near a 5 rep max. The first rep isn't heavy, your calculations are off. My first rep wasn't heavy. My second rep wasn't heavy. I didn't start feeling it until around rep 3 on each of these. So we know we really only got, 1 or 2 effective reps. Probably easily 3 reps in reserve on these sets. But they felt good, and it felt good to pull from that low position and get some practice. It is enough coming off the back end of the box squats to add some cumulative hypertrophy. And it's just a good training effect. And if I have to do this next time, if I still don't feel ready to do sumos, I'll add a little weight. I'll go up 10 or 20 pounds on these, right? Should have no trouble doing that. Actually, I might go up 10, and then if I end up not doing sumos starting in next week, I might miss these and throw another 10 on, and just work it up a little bit. But, barring being able to do sumos, deficit deadlifts are actually a very valid hypertrophy exercise, and they're good for building power off the floor. I get a lot of quad and hamstring work on them. Okay, that's the interesting thing for me. I actually feel quite a bit of quad when I do deficits, and it makes sense. We're using more quad. This is a quad exercise. This adds to my quad volume. I get a quad pump. Biomechanically, we know we use more quad. So it added to my quad work for the day since I only did 3 sets of squats. Hey, great. Well, other than the training max, 3 work sets. So again, quite happy with that. Quite happy with the effect this got, and it didn't beat me into the ground because I had to do heavy good mornings after. That was another factor too. I'm like, that's one of the reasons I wanted to do sumos is it's easier on the low back. This is hard on the low back, but because we're forced to use a lighter weight, and I didn't do all-out limit sets, I just got a nice little training response, some quality work in from that low position. Okay? That low position will help build a little more mobility in things. I need to rebuild some mobility through some areas. So again, it'll be useful for that. So I was happy with it, but I didn't go all out. It wasn't super challenging. I left reps in the tank. These were hard because these are 80% of my all-out PR max on this lift. So I did 445 for sets of 5, and the first rep is a little shallow each time because I'm trying to get a feel for it, and then I start sinking it deeper. These were hard. These I only left 1 rep in reserve. And on the last set, I don't know that I had a rep in reserve. It was heavy. Okay. And I stopped there though anyways. I calculated at 5 based upon my max. 80% I should be able to get 5 safely. It's one of those cases where I felt like though on the 3rd set, had I tried for a 6 rep, I was risking injury. We do need to be careful of that with heavy good mornings. I'm a big fan. I program them heavy. I have my lifters max on them. I max on them. We go heavy on this, but you have to respect this exercise. I don't consider it to be a dangerous exercise per se, but it's an exercise that you better respect when you do it. You don't play around on this lift. You better be focused. You don't do sloppy junk reps. You don't do them fast. Try to do fast eccentrics. No room for that on this lift, especially when we start getting heavy weight. I mean, this is right at 455 pounds short. 450 pounds for rep work. It will build your back and hamstrings though. It will build your back and hamstrings. And that is a lot of what we're doing now. Since I'm going to go back to the wide stance squatting, it's going to be more posterior chain involved. My quads are massive. I need my glutes, but I notice my glutes get just crushed by those heavy box squats, which tells me again we've got to keep hammering this stuff. There's going to be various sorts of deficit pulls, sumo pulls. Going to focus very hard on my good mornings and reverse hypers, which we're pushing up really hard again now. They need to be pushed at a bleeding edge. And I hate that when people say stuff like, well, accessory work, you can't treat accessory work hard, you should just be getting a pump. On a single joint movement. But if you're not pushing your accessory work hard, and progressively overloading it, you're not building more myofibrillar hypertrophy. Okay? You're not getting stronger from it. Okay, if you blast enough gear, okay, fine. I get it. You know, if people say, well, I run network farm, it's like, okay, if you're on a gamma test, I get it. That's fine. But you would be even stronger if you took it more serious. Even on the gear. Just throwing that out there, guys. It matters. The weight on the bar matters for your supplemental lifts. And I take them seriously, and we have to. It's like you guys see me pushing the incline work hard. You see me pushing rows hard. See me pushing good mornings hard. We have to. Now I'm working these reverse hypers up. I've been kind of sandbagging on them for a while because I was like, well, according to this math, I should be where I need to be. No, clearly not. Doesn't matter what math says from certain supplemental work that I should have a strong enough posterior chain to pull 700. I'm nowhere near that. So we keep working this up. I added an extra set today. Since I didn't get all the volume I wanted on the other stuff, that's going to be what I'm going to do. I'm going to work volume up on this. Rather than even mess with my GHRs right now, because even though, hey, I like the hamstring effect, my hamstrings are strong no matter what I do because of all this other work. And they're getting worked with the good mornings. They're getting worked with the deadlifts. They're getting worked with the reverse hypers. Not that worried about the smaller movement right now. I can replace that with more reverse hypers. Why? The low back and the glutes get worked more. This is phenomenal for both. And it's restorative. It'll let me recover from all those heavy good mornings. It'll let me recover from some of that heavy deadlifting because of the traction it puts back on the spine. Which is also nice with all the dead hangs I'm doing. Which I do dead hangs every day now. It's what I have done that's been the most effective for rehabbing my shoulder. And I've started even prescribing it to some of my clients at this point. Dead hangs, guys. Dead hangs. Do them. If you want to be safe on pull-ups and chin-ups, do dead hangs. If you have a history of shoulder injury, try dead hangs. And do them every day. Also work great for your grip. But back over to this point, I'm going to work this up to 5 sets. I did 4 sets with this today, 4 sets of 25 with the 500. I'm going to work it up to 5 sets next time. I'm going to throw extra volume in for my posterior chain. This is where we're going to do it. That's why everything else can be heavy. I'm doing a bunch of 5s. Let's worry about mechanical tension and effective reps because I can get my pump volume right here. Because these have to go high reps. I don't have a choice. I can't fit much more. I can fit more weight on here, but I'm going to run out of space real quick unless I buy more calibrated plates. And even then, I'm stuck just with 700 pounds on this machine. I'm doing sets of 25 with 500. I'm probably going to have to go up. I'm never going to be able to do low reps. It has a limit of 700. It'll break after that. But overall, very happy with today's workout. Very productive. Very happy about my shoulder. We're going to bring up that box squat a lot more with that power bar. Going to continue to get stronger at the box squats with the wide stance. That's going to carry over to sumo pulling. We're going to get good at deadlifts again. We're going to bring everything up. Very happy with the way things are going at this moment. And I've got a good game plan, so I hope it's been informative. And I will talk to you guys next time.